I'm just so nervous. Okay. Hello, everyone, and welcome to a special edition of Black Spinner Circle with Andy Rodriguez and Al Porta. Today, we are going to be doing a tribute to Ozzy Osbourne. We lost him earlier today, about 7 hours ago. And how's it going, Al? How are you?
Well, I normally don't like to do shows like this, but I feel like this is cathartic for us.
Yeah.
You know, we lost a big one today, man. Let's just say, I mean, we throw around the word icon and legend a lot,
Yeah.
sometimes unwarranted. What we might think is a legend, other people, but I think we can universally agree that Ozzy Osbourne is a fucking legend. He's an icon, and this one hits hard, man. You know what I mean? It's a rough day today, man. In the world
Yeah,
of
it,
music,
it
dude.
really is. Ozzy was like, oh, well, let's go ahead and introduce the rest of our
Yeah,
panel.
everybody, man. Manny.
Today we have Manny Mejia's joining us. How's it going, Manny?
Not bad, not bad. Like you guys said, it's a rough day. So
Yeah, it is. And also Jerry Superman Soupy. What's up, Jerry?
Yeah, man. Thanks for inviting me on. I wish there was some more exciting thing to talk about, but it's good to do a tribute to this guy, man. Because Al says, man, this is the definition of a legend we lost today, man. So
Yeah, it
glad,
really is.
glad I'm celebrating with you guys. Thank you for having me.
And also we got the great Joseph Staub with us. Hey, Joe, thank you so much for joining us tonight. I really do appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me. This has been a
Yeah. Go ahead, brother.
what's it?
Go ahead, man.
No, I was just gonna say this has been a bit of a day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I gotta say, man. When Manny, my buddy right there, he was one of the first guys to text me about Ozzy passing. I wasn't when this happened. I was I was literally in a thrift store. I got done with my job. I was on my way home. I'm like, let me stop at this thrift store. And I was checking out the CDs. I had a bunch of CDs in my hand. I was going to buy. I was finding some good ones and stuff. And Manny texted me saying, "Dude, Ozzy died." And I'm like, "What, man?" It's like doesn't register with you right away. It's just like, come on, man. It's like, and I go on, and then I have like a group text of a lot of my friends up in New Jersey, and then the group's text starts blowing up like, Ozzy passed, and sure enough, I go on social media and it's starting to trickle in, and I'm like, dude, I put the CDs back. I did this, the sales, the wind blew out of my sails, dude. I didn't even feel like buying the CDs anymore. I just put them back and I walked out of the store, dude. I was just like, I can't deal with this, man, and I grew up with this guy, man, like ever since I was like not even double digits yet. I think it was like 9 when I discovered my brother's Paranoid tape, and I played that, and I got scared. You know what I mean? It was fucking scary music to me, man. And I'm like, oh, I don't know if I'm ready for this yet, but scary but intriguing, man. And it really kind of was like, because I was growing up on Zeppelin and stuff, and Zeppelin was heavy and stuff like that, but I never heard anything like this before, man. And it just kind of started my way. I was still in that wasn't in that sweet spot yet where like I was really absorbing the music, but I was hearing things here and there that were starting to creep in and influence me and stuff that I started liking, but I wasn't going out buying music yet and stuff. So I was absorbing my brother's influences into my own, and it would be another year or two before I would start, going on my own path. But anyway, yeah, dude, this is the big one, man. I just was like, I wasn't even in the mood to buy CDs anymore. I was like, yeah, fuck this, man. And I walked out. Anyway, that's what happened today when I heard the news.
Yeah, unfortunately, when at work, nobody really, I had no one to share my feelings with. I had no one to tell. I told a couple.
I know you texted me. I know you texted me about it.
Yeah, I texted you, and our group chat with BS Sessions, we were talking about it, but I had nobody at work to talk to about, and I told somebody, and I had to explain who that was,
I hope you defriended that person immediately.
No, but I had to explain how important he has been in my life ever since I was the age of 9, when I bought Bark at the Moon because I saw the video of Bark at the Moon. I want that cassette. Um, and ever since then, I think I can speak for all of us here and for a lot of our friends and for millions of other people that when it comes to hard rock and heavy metal, Ozzy Osbourne is in the middle of all that for all of us.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
one that
He's the center of that world, man. Like the
yeah,
core.
he was
You
the
know.
center of that world. And when we lost someone like this, it's most of the time when we lose a celebrity, I'm like, oh, that's sad. But nothing has ever hit me quite like this. Even when Tom Petty passed, I was like, oh, okay, or George Harrison. I said, oh, that's sad news. But this is different. This has been, I've been listening to him for almost 40 years. There's almost not a whole week goes by that I don't listen to him or some form of Ozzy. And of course, at least we'll have all of his music. But I remember the first solo album that I heard by Ozzy was Bark at the Moon. My mom bought it for me on cassette. And then I think I've said the story before. When I was 14 years old, I was going around my neighborhood and I went to a garage sale. And I bought Black Sabbath. I sold our souls for rock and roll for 50 cents, and it just changed everything for me at that point. I had never heard of Black Sabbath before, but I saw the name Ozzy Osbourne on there, so I went ahead and grabbed it. And of course, we all know where that leads you to. That leads you to everything, opens the door to everything. So that's what Ozzy means to me. And of course, we'll talk more about our experiences with him as we got older. But Manny, how did you get involved with Ozzy, or what were some of the first memories of him?
Or how did you hear about it today?
Yeah,
Like, where did you get the news
that's it.
from?
well, that part, the news, I heard that from Stan from Rat Salad Review. He posted Ozzy died, and I went immediately to CNN. Nothing was there. Then I just Googled, and then I saw the British press already had gotten a hold of it. And then, literally 3 minutes later, ABC, CNN, all the networks started posting, and they put the statement from the family. Um, at first, I didn't believe it because there's always this fake stuff going around. Clint Eastwood died, this celebrity died, and all this
Mhm.
bullshit. So I didn't believe it, especially since he just did a show 2 weeks ago. Now, I didn't think he was in great shape 2 weeks ago, but I thought, boy, he sounds pretty good for a guy with Parkinson's, better than I
Yes.
sound right now. So, um, and there was a part of me going, man, is he well enough to do another solo album? I knew Black Sabbath was in the cards, but I thought maybe, because musicians do what musicians do. They said they're going to retire, and they don't retire because they're musicians. You don't retire from music. That's why it doesn't surprise me when all these guys say they're going to. I think they're all sincere. They're done. They don't want to do it anymore. And then they sit at home for 3 weeks, and maybe I should call the guys up. I thought maybe that would happen. As far as Ozzy, when I first heard Black Sabbath, I discovered all this stuff during the Satanic Panic when my mom would send me to church. They had these pamphlets, all the evil bands. One of them was Black Sabbath. But the first Black Sabbath I got into was with Ronnie James Dio. I was 12 years old. It was 82. Because that was it wasn't the Mob Rules. It was the Heaven and Hell album. And then when I heard Ozzy, I heard about Ozzy before I actually heard Ozzy, meaning in middle school, I heard about him biting the heads off bats and doves. And of course, being middle school, suddenly he's blowing up all kinds of animals on stage, which didn't happen, of course. But a friend of mine sold me a Blizzard of Oz for $2. And I took it home, and I was expecting very scary music. And the first thing I hear is Randy Rhoads, which is incredible. And then I heard him sing, and it was very melodic, and it really surprised me because I guess I was expecting what Motorhead was to me. I hadn't heard of Motorhead, but I was expecting that kind of vocal. It was melodic, and then I looked at the lyrics, and I was already into literature and words, and I'm going, wow, these are pretty damn good. Heirs of Cold War, what do we become? Anyway, that's how I got into Ozzy. So he's literally been in my life since I was 12 years old. I am now 55. That is literally my entire life. He was one of the first artists I got into. AC/DC was my gateway band. Then it was Black Sabbath, Ozzy Osbourne, Aerosmith, and then Quiet Riot, Def Leppard. I'm definitely a child of my age, of my time. Anyway, that's my story.
All right, and we got a comment. Andy R saying, "Rock in peace to the legend Ozzy." And yeah, he had a long, wonderful life, a crazy life. What about you, Jerry? What's your experience, and how did you find out today?
Yeah, I was just scrolling on Facebook, and I noticed Ralph had posted. I just heard that Ozzy died. I hope this is not true because I agree with what Manny says. You hear these rumors about these guys dying all the time, and it's not true. So I looked around. I started, going to different sites. I didn't hear anything or see anything. And then I saw, I think it was the Star. I think is that the English paper? I can't remember, but
Yeah.
they were the only one that posted that Ozzy died. So I'm like, I'm not 100% sure yet. But then 4 or 5 minutes later, it was all over the place. All the major news sites had it, and it hit me like a ton of bricks. I mean, I don't really get. Well, that's not true. I don't really cry when these people die because I don't really know him, but I actually really cried today when I heard that news because he's been a part of. These growing up, these guys are like family to you. I mean, you've been in your life for so long. It feels like you lost a family member.
Yep.
And I don't remember the exact moment I got into Ozzy, but I know he was been in my. I got all my influences from my older sisters. They were into rock, and that's how I got into rock. And I'm sure that's how it started, but. This thing right here, man, I'm telling you, was a total game changer for me as a kid as far as my love for metal and rock and roll. I listened to this quite a bit today, and I was still crying a little bit. It's like it's a loss, man. It's just I can't explain. It's like losing a family member, man. It really is. And I only had the privilege of seeing him in concert one time, and that was the No More Tears tour, which was fucking amazing. I wish I would have saw him more, but I was, raising a kid at the time, and I didn't really have, expenses to go see a lot of concerts. But man, I got just so many great memories as a kid listening to his music, hanging out with friends and everything. Just fucking just thank you for the music, Ozzy. I mean, that's all I got to say. It's thank you, and it'll always be here. And that's the cool thing about it. It's always right here. So. He might be gone in physical form, but man, he's always going to be right here.
Right. What about you, Joe? How did you find out today, and when did you really get into Ozzy, and what's he mean to you?
Yeah, it was kind of similar to Jerry. I saw Ralph's post before anybody else was posting about it, and that thing where he said, "I hope this isn't true." I read that Ozzy died, and I did the same thing that everyone else did. I immediately went on Google, and I couldn't find it anywhere. I saw like one link that said Ozzy died, and then within 3 minutes it was everywhere. Everyone was posting about it, and that was just, I mean, it hit me really hard. This is, I mean, one of the hardest I've ever been hit by a musician passing, because this is really one of the first guys that passed that I got a chance to see live. I mean, trying to think back, the only other musicians that I can really think of that I've seen live that are no longer with us are Frankie Banali from Quiet Riot and CJ Snare from Firehouse. And not to be disrespectful to either one of those, but neither of them are on the level of Ozzy when it comes to importance in my life. Ozzy was one of the first musicians that I really dove into when I really got into heavier music in high school. I mean, all of these CDs, all these Ozzy and Black Sabbath CDs that I've had for over a decade at this point, and there's not a lot of bands that I can say that about. I bought all of these when I was still in high school. I went and got, I even knew enough at that point to go and buy Speak of the Devil and all the stuff that's out of print, the Just Say Ozzy EP, all that stuff. Like, all that was stuff I got when I was still in high school and just really dove deep. And of course it was really those first two albums, and like Jerry said, especially Diary of a Madman, that really connected with me. That's to this day my favorite thing that Ozzy's ever done. Right up there with the Black Sabbath stuff, of course, all these amazing Black Sabbath albums that he was on, the classic 8 albums, and then I also have the Reunion and Past Lives compilations, some great live stuff from them. But yeah, this has just been a really hard day because I was not expecting it. It was just completely out of the blue, like everyone has said. He was just performing 2 weeks ago, and it just really hit me hard just because of how much Ozzy's meant to my life and how he's influenced the kind of music that I listen to now. He really did. Ozzy and Black Sabbath were huge parts of opening up that world of heavier music for me. I mean, everyone knows exactly from all the shows we've done what kind of music I was brought up on, more classic rock, 80s kind of hard rock. I mean, I'm wearing a Scorpion shirt for crying out loud. But Ozzy and Sabbath were what really opened me up to getting into heavier music, and I wouldn't know half of the bands that I know if it weren't for Ozzy and Sabbath. And actually, a lot of that probably comes back to Ralph, because when I was a freaking 13-year-old watching his Kiss reviews, because I'm a huge Kiss fan, and then seeing him talking about Black Sabbath, I have this Black Sabbath channel, and that made me go and check out his Black Sabbath reviews, and that was what made me really deep dive into the band. And so it really all just kind of comes full circle around to that. But it's really one of the first artists that I ever really truly dove into when it comes to heavier music. So this one just really kind of hit me hard.
Yeah, so now let's talk about his live shows. I was lucky to see him 4 times, twice solo and twice with Sabbath. And each time was, not only was he good on stage, but you were able to hear and feel the fandom around you. You know, when you go see a show, the fans that are around you are part of the show. And every time you went to go see an Ozzy show, all eyes were on him. Everybody was singing every single song, every lyric. It was a big celebration when you went to go see Ozzy, and rightfully so. One of those Ozzy shows are some of the most important ones. I went to one Ozfest. No, I went to 2 Ozfests, and both of them were just a celebration of him. You know, even though there were all these other bands that were there, but they were there to support him and to thank him for what he has done for the heavy metal and hard rock community. Kind of what we saw a couple of weeks ago, which is why it's such a big surprise that we lost him. What about you, Al? Have you ever seen him live? And if so, like how many times and stuff like that?
God, I've seen Ozzy live countless times. Sabbath. The first time I saw Sabbath actually was the reunion in '99. Was when they toured with Pantera and Deftones. That's the first time I ever saw Sabbath ever, because I missed Sabbath with. I had friends that went to the Dehumanizer tour, and I kind of wish I went to that because I would have loved to see them with I was too young to see the Sabbath, kind of like in the 80s, like the 80s, they didn't tour like America that much, and they were like, then it wasn't with Ozzy, and it was just kind of, I wasn't really aware of that stuff, man. Like I wasn't really following Sabbath at that time. Like now I love all that stuff, the Seventh Star and all the stuff post Ozzy. But I mean, I didn't see Sabbath till '99 when they reunited. It was the 4 of them. And just real quick, going back to, if there's any light, if there's any kind of joy, that I could say about this, is at least he got to do that last show, man. And it was like, I mean, the fact that it was like a little over 2 weeks ago. I was in Portugal at the time, and I was checking out the stream that on Almost Human, the guy Gail that was streaming it for that. Thank you, Gail, for doing that, man. That was awesome. I got to see most of the show, and to see like Sabbath, the 4. I mean, how many bands you really can't even hardly name on one hand that ended full circle with all original members, and that's it. I mean, Sabbath did it, man. Bill Ward came back, and fucking all them guys did it one more time, man. And I, as saddened as I am that we lost Ozzy, I'm really glad that he got to experience one last show with his brothers, man, that he came up with. And that, that gives me joy at least to think about that, man, because not many bands or artists can say that. There's always like this fighting and all this shit, like they never resolve it, and they go to their graves with it, man. At least these guys, man, they went out, and Ozzy had that one last show, man. And it's almost like I don't know, man. It's I mean, this show has been in the works for since like late last year. I think we got first word of this, right? I think it was when they first announced it, and I'd like to think that like, well, I mean, in the back of my mind, I think Ozzy probably knows as time. Obviously, he probably knew his time was limited. Parkinson's is a nasty disease, and he wanted to get this done, man. And I guess he put his whole heart and soul into this, man. And he sang great. I thought he sang for what he's going through. I thought he was great, man.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
The first time I saw Ozzy was actually on the No More Tears tour. I saw him at Madison Square Garden, but it wasn't the big room. There's a theater at Madison Square Garden that sits above the garden. I want to say it's probably not even. I don't know if it's like a 5,000 seat capacity. It's a smaller room. It's not the big room. It's not the Madison Square Garden. It's the theater. It was called the Paramount Theater at the time I saw Ozzy. It used to be called the Felt Forum. It was classic in the 70s, 80s. And I mean, the Doors recorded an album there, a live album. It was called the Felt Forum. That's the classic name of the place. And so and as big as Ozzy was, like No More Tears was a big album for him. I was surprised as hell that he played like a more intimate room there. I was like, but my friend, a couple of friends of mine, we got tickets, man, and went down. And it was a fucking great show. I remember Prong opened up for him, and they were just kind of breaking, with I think Snap Your Fingers, Snap Your Neck was coming out. I think they were kind of breaking with that, and Ozzy was awesome, dude. I mean, fucking dude, I was floored, and I mean, I regret because I remember some friends went to see him on the Ultimate Sin tour, Metallica opening. I didn't get to go to that, and I'm fucking bummed out. And then again, a couple of friends of mine went to the No Rest for the Wicked tour, and I missed that one. I kicked myself for that. And finally, I was like, I'm not missing this, man. So I went, and then I seen him as the years went on. I mean, I saw Ozfest '98. Where he had Joe Holmes on guitar. That was great. I saw him when Rob Halford opened up for him. I saw him when he did Rob Halford opened up for him. I saw him with Rob Zombie. I saw just a bunch of Ozzy solo shows. And then the Sabbath shows, I saw like from the reunion on, I saw most of the times that they toured, but I'm glad I got to see him with Bill Ward, the four of them. But the last one, with Tommy Clufetos, was a great tour too. I mean, they were playing great and stuff. So at that time, I think Bill probably he wouldn't have been able to probably do a whole tour with them. So I could kind of see, I was bummed that he wasn't there, but I could kind of see the reason. So anyway, so that's my times I saw Ozzy. So, and just circling back real quick again, today, I remember my wife calling me and my daughter got on the phone. She knows how much I love Ozzy and the Sabbath. And, Kayla was like, Dad, I'm sorry that, Ozzy passed away. And I mean, that just goes to show like the power, the love that I had for the guy, man, so, anyway, that's
the power of the music. I think it's the power of the music. I think it's the power of the music because.
Yeah. Go ahead, man. You take over. Go ahead. Talk about
Well, my life experiences, I saw him at the Ultimate Sin tour, but mine was Queensryche opening, not Metallica. They already had dropped off the tour. I remember that because they came down with a throne all the way down, like the video. This is during the glam era. At the time, I thought he looked cool. Looking back, he kind of looks like Elizabeth Taylor on acid, but at the time, it was kind of cool.
He was still Ozzy, man. It fucking didn't matter.
Yeah, Ozzy was still in there. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I saw the No More Tears tour, and I don't remember who opened. And as far as where you saw him, Al, my feeling is they're probably recording a live album because that's why the Doors played there because it has better acoustics than the bigger place.
That could be true because he came out with a live album after. Yeah. But I don't know if part of it was recorded there or not, but maybe.
Well, when they record live albums, they probably meant to record it all there, but they usually record tons of shows, thankfully. Um, but and then I saw him with Joel Holmes. I don't remember if it was Scream Tour or Black Rain, but Slash opened, and I remember that show. That was it was a really cool show, but it was. I don't know. I really liked it a lot. I was just a little taken back because I didn't know who Joel Holmes was. I knew the name, but I didn't know who he was.
The one show that I saw with Rob Halford was Gus G on guitar. I remember that one, and I remember they were digging deep. He played a pretty long show. That one, I remember they were digging deep into like the Ozzy and some Sabbath, and I was like pretty impressed with the set list on that one. I think Gus G played on Scream. I think he played on that album.
Maybe it was Gus G.
Yeah,
I don't remember. Maybe it wasn't Joe Holmes.
Because Joe Holmes was like the it was like mid to late 90s into maybe 99 or 2000. Then I think Zach came back then.
Well, when I saw him was with, definitely must have been Gus G, the Scream Tour. Maybe I didn't see him with Joe Holmes. I never saw them with Black Sabbath. The only Black Sabbath I saw was with Ian Gillan and Ronnie James Dio.
Oh, wow. You never caught any of the reunion shows, huh?
No, I never caught any. I didn't know I was going to meet you and get free tickets out. But,
I wasn't living down here yet, damn it.
Yeah, I mean, I had no idea. But as far as why we feel the way we feel, it's easy. It's the power of the music. I had posted earlier, and I didn't mean to hijack, but I don't know how old the other two guys are, but the Satanic Panic of the 80s, people telling us how evil this music was and how it's going to damage you. And I've never met anyone who listened to heavy metal that listened to it that wanted to feel bad or, not feel empowered. That music is all about empowerment and individuality. Yeah. And the great thing about music is people can fight about politics all they want or religion, but at the end of the day, what really lasts forever is music. You don't believe me? Turn on the radio. You'll hear the Beatles somewhere. You won't know why Lyndon Johnson was president, maybe, unless you read a history book. But you'll certainly remember a Beatles song or a Black Sabbath song. Music's eternal, and thank God for that. Anyway, that's my 2 cents.
Absolutely, bro. That's awesome.
100%. You're so right.
Nailed it.
Hey, Gary, so you said you saw him at the No More Tears tour.
Yeah, it was my first concert on Miami Arena. It was like a couple weeks after my 21st birthday. It was Ugly Kid Joe that opened there. Is that who you saw, Manny? As well? You're in the Tampa area?
Yeah, it must have been Ugly Kid Joe because I probably hated him. So
yeah, I didn't like him either. So all I remember, it's how cooler a concert is. They're able to buy a beer. That's the big thing I remembered. But the show itself was fantastic, man. Just to see Ozzy live for the first time. And again, he was always one of the people I say, I'll see him again eventually. But dumbass never did. Of course, having a kid, I kind of had to, focus on other things at that time. But I am fortunate enough to see him that one time. And man, I was just still remember it clearly. I mean, opened with Paranoid. I mean, that's just a fucking banger to start out with. But Manny nailed it. So I went to a Catholic school growing up, and I remember that list because they sent that to my parents. It was stuff like Black Sabbath movies, like The Exorcist. You gotta stay away from all this stuff. Yeah, as a kid, when you're told not to watch or do stuff, you're going to do it anyway. You're going to find a way to do it, and I did. And I never really made me want to go kill anybody or do anything bad. It made me happy. Music did. It really did. To me, it was, I'm not a very religious person, but it was closest thing to religion that I have had in my life that I can, rely on and have faith in. And it's cured me from a lot of depression and a lot of bad times I've had in my life. So, and he was part of that. I mean, Ozzy stuff got me through a lot of stuff. And everybody I know that's met him said he's one of the nicest guys. You might think of him as, on these way he acts, he's this demon, rah stuff. But from what I hear, he's like one of the nicest guys to talk to. I mean, and I wish I was able to meet him.
I can attest to that because I did get to meet him one time. So, but I'll get to that.
I was talking to him. I was talking to Mike today, Mike Tyler, and he was talking about how good he was with his niece when they met him. I mean, he would go out his way to get a picture with her and stuff like that. I mean, stuff like that's cool, man. When you appreciate your fans like that, and say what you want about Sharon, but I really feel bad for her right now. That's got to suck for her.
Of course, man.
Yeah, of course. That's her husband.
I mean,
yeah, that's her family.
And Mike made a point today. It's like, she's a manager, and it's a manager's job sometimes to be the bitch or the asshole. You know what I mean? To protect your husband. And he brought up Peter Grant from Led Zeppelin. That's a great example right there of a badass manager. But yeah, I mean, dude, just thinking about this today is just still making me teary eyed, man. I can't believe he's gone. There's only been a few. I didn't even tear up when Eddie died, and I love Eddie. There's only been 3 people I've teared up for. That was Brad Delp when he died, because he's my favorite singer of all time, and then Richard Wright from Pink Floyd, because I'm a huge Floyd fan. And today, for some reason, Ozzy just hit me really hard, man. It still is kind of hitting me now. It's still kind of in disbelief, but as I said earlier, just I'm glad I have these memories. I'm glad I have you guys to talk about it and keep it alive. So I thank you for that.
And the thing with Sharon, I think that it's a double standard. Everybody says that how great Peter Grant was, but with Sharon being a woman and doing the same thing, they need to call her names. And I really think that that's where it stems from.
I think you're right, because
from her being a woman.
AC/DC and the Bon Scott estate, because they're now 2 different things, are pretty ruthless when it comes to their trademark and how they market their music and what have you. And nobody says squat about the young management or Bon Scott's estate, but Sharon, they say a lot of crap about.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
she's just doing the same thing and protecting protecting who Ozzy is. That's her client, her number one client, and her husband. In a whole different world.
And I'm guilty of bashing her too at times.
I'm guilty of that too, man. I've unloaded on her a couple of times. I mean, she has been ruthless to some of his past members and all that. But again, like Andy brought up, and you, Jerry, and you gotta look out for your artist. You gotta look out for your, and sometimes you need to be ruthless. You need to, she made Ozzy. If it wasn't for her, he could have been dead, man.
Yeah, he probably wouldn't be. He would have died long.
Yeah, I mean, it's not only her client, it's her husband too. So
exactly, man.
He would have just been a footnote as being the lead singer of Black Sabbath, and that was it.
Yeah.
Well, that would be a hell of a footnote, Andy.
Yeah. But you know what I mean.
Yeah. The legend would have died there. I mean,
he wouldn't have been the cultural icon that he was.
Yeah.
Well, that's Sharon and Randy Rhoads. I'm not saying the other guys didn't contribute.
But he went into superstardom during the 80s and 90s. He did.
I want to hear the gentleman at the corner's concert stories, but I do want to talk about Ozzy's solo career, how different it was from Black Sabbath after he said his piece.
Okay, that sounds great. Joe, let's talk about the show you saw him at.
Yeah, I got to see him on the last tour, the 2018 tour, with his first tour back with Zach after a while broken off from Zach, and it was a great show. I mean, did Ozzy sound amazing? No, but the energy was there. He was still Ozzy. He still could sing. Zach was great. The rest of the band was really solid, and it was just a great show to see. It was something to be able to see that I saw Ozzy Osbourne live. It was just something that not everyone can say. And it was a great show. I have some arguments with the set list, but that's most bands, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that he didn't play a single song off of Diary of a Madman, that's criminal.
Yeah.
But it is what it is, and I thankfully get to say that I did get to see him live, and it was a great show. I got to see him with some of my best friends. It was just a great time, and we were lucky because we only found out about it like the week before the show. So it was like one of those kind of lucky chances that if we wouldn't have been at that venue seeing a different show the week before, we never would have gotten the tickets. We never would have known that he was coming, and I never would have gotten to see Ozzy. So it was really lucky that I was able to get to see Ozzy, and I was able to get to see him put on a great show. Even It's crazy to think it's already been over almost 7 years. It was September of 2018.
Wow. Yeah, in December, Zach Sabbath is coming to town. And I had already said I was going to go, but I'm going to go definitely to go see Zach Sabbath. Has anyone seen that? Zach Sabbath?
I've never seen Zach Sabbath. I mean, I've seen Black Label, but I've never seen Zach Sabbath. But he does pretty good with Sabbath stuff, man.
Yeah. I did see Black Label on the Ozfest tour a couple of times, and I like Black Label.
I was listening real quick to Ozzy's Boneyard today. Obviously they've been going all, and Charlie Benante from Anthrax called in, and Pantera was playing a show. They're playing a show tonight somewhere, and then he was calling in, and they were like saying, "Yeah, we're definitely going to work up like a Sabbath song or two and play tonight, in tribute to it." He was saying, they were asking him how's Zach holding up, and I mean, Ozzy was probably like a father to him. You know what I mean? So he always talks about how Ozzy was like a father to him, and Sharon's like a mom to him. So I'm sure he's taking it pretty hard, man. You know what I mean? But he's playing a show tonight with Pantera, so he gets to take it out on a guitar. I'm sure it's going to be pretty cathartic for him to just, again, like Manny said, the power of music, bro. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So, going back to the, I mean, like, today is hitting me hard. It's like when Neil Peart of Rush died. I shed a tear for that one. And when Edward died, it's these three guys that really meant like the world to me, So, I was a little too young. Like when Randy died, I wasn't really much aware of him yet. So, but he's like, I mean, the fact that I'd like to think that Ozzy and Randy are like hanging out right now and reuniting, and we all like to think that. We don't know what's going to happen till we go. But I like, in my mind, I like to play it out that, Ozzy and Randy are fucking jamming again, and,
together.
And even Lee Kerslake, let's talk about Lee Kerslake, the Randy Castillo, I put some people in his bands that are gone too, so, I like to think that like he's surrounded by, his bandmates and
Lemmy, he's back with Lemmy too.
And Lemmy, and yeah, dude, that was one of his best friends, man.
Yeah. So Manny wanted to talk about his solo career. Let's go ahead and do that.
Well, what I wanted to point out, and here's my original pressing, and here's a repressing because I'm insane that way.
Aren't we all?
Yeah, and here's an EP.
Oh yeah, the live EP.
Which EP is that one?
Mr. Crowley EP?
Mr. Crowley EP.
Yeah, Fall. And then of course and then I've got an Over the Mountain 12-inch single.
Oh wow.
Yeah, what's on here? B-side, I don't know. Cheap bastards. Anyway, here's a repressing of Diary because of course I have an original in here. Speak of the Devil. Let's see. Bark at the Moon, original pressing. Ultimate Sin, tribute. Not my favorite album, but I bought it anyway because it was cheap. Patient number 9. All right, what I wanted to say about Ozzy's solo career was that two things. Number one, it was very smart how different his solo material sounds to Black Sabbath. Also, what's impressive is, other than, say, Paul McCartney, there have not been a lot of huge solo careers after somebody leaves a band. Paul Rodgers was in 2 successful bands. Solo career, respectable, but not huge. David Lee Roth, it didn't stay large forever. Ozzy managed to hold on to his audience. Even Mick Jagger's solo albums, which are pretty damn good, pale in comparison sales-wise to the Stones. You just couldn't pull it off. I don't count Alice Cooper because nobody realized Alice Cooper was a band and he was a singer, so I don't count that,
I would say maybe somebody like Peter Gabriel.
Peter Gabriel's the perfect example, thank you, and Phil Collins, definitely. Exceptions, But Ozzy, that was his music is so different, other than that distinct voice. Because he had one of the most distinct, coolest voices in rock. We should get that out there. The guy, even Richie Blackmore said that. Richie Blackmore hasn't said something about anything nice about anybody since 1965. So, you know, but his solo career was melodic, and what's even more amazing is unlike a lot of metal bands, he was able to, from his era, he was able to pick up young fans. I know part of that had to do with the TV show, reality show, also that made him a cultural icon in the mainstream. But all that stuff, I mean, look at the press right now, the mainstream press, or the non-rock press, how they're paying tribute to him. We're talking about people that, when you and I were kids, wouldn't have let us, would have thought we were going to sacrifice virgins or something.
Right.
Now they're, praising this guy, as he should. He's a cultural icon.
He was feared. He was feared back in those days, though, man.
Yeah, he was.
He was feared. Real quick, man. Like, I got to meet him one time when he came out with his book, I Am Ozzy here.
That's a good book.
Yeah, and he did a book signing in New Jersey, and so I got to meet him. It was very briefly, I mean, because they run you through, but I got to say a few words to him. But I do have his autograph, which is awesome. I wish I could have got a post picture with him, but again, these type of book signings and stuff, they kind of run you through, and they don't have time for you to sit there and pose for a picture. And it depends on where you go. Sometimes you go to certain places and they're a little more relaxed with it. But I mean, there was a lot of people there to see Ozzy.
I bet. Yeah.
I mean, it was a fucking long line, dude. And I remember getting there in the morning, and I was there. Fortunate, I got there early. But damn, man, like by the time I was getting in there, I mean, the line behind me was like around the fucking block, probably like 2 or 3 times. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, I got to get his book. I got to meet him, and it was funny, man, because when I was saying a few words to him, I just said, I mean, what do you say to a guy like that? I mean, when you have like 5 seconds, I was just like, you got me through hard times, man. Like, thank you just for being there for me. And, and as he's saying that, he takes a break from like signing. He just goes, and I had to laugh. I'm like, hey man, relax for a moment, stretch out, take a break, but, and he laughed, and he's like, thank you, mate. And I just went on. I was like, thanks, man. And that was kind of it. But I mean, I wish I could have got a picture of him. But I snapped a couple of pictures walking up to the table and as he was signing my book, and that's good enough for me. I got to say a few words to him, and
yeah, that's awesome.
I'm glad I did. I crossed paths with the man. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
and that's awesome, man. I mean, that's what it's all about. So go ahead, Andy.
Oh yeah, Jerry, do you want to share anything about his music and the differences between Black Sabbath and solo Ozzy?
Yeah, I mean, obviously his guitar players were different, especially at the beginning. Randy Rhoads and Tony Iommi, 2 completely different guitar players. I think that actually was kind of cool because you want to separate yourself from, I mean, he's always going to be related to Black Sabbath, but you want to separate kind of from that sound.
Randy brought him into like the modern era, man.
Exactly.
He modernized Ozzy, and
yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that's my biggest, difference as the musicians that he had from Black Sabbath to his solo career. The amazing part about it is he continued to have great guitars. Now, I want to ask you guys, why did Zach leave? Did he want to leave on his own? Did he have any problem with Ozzy?
Which time? There was like 3
times.
Well,
the first time he got asked to be in Guns N' Roses, so he was on this fence about like joining Guns, and I remember I think Ozzy was he getting ready to do Osmosis or go on tour after Osmosis?
Yes, because originally Zach wasn't going to be on this album.
Okay.
On the demos for Osmosis, it was, I can't remember who it was. It was a guy that never ended up doing anything with him, and I can't remember who it was.
And then there was some stuff he was writing with Steve Vai too. Remember?
Steve Vai,
yeah. But Zach left, and I think he came back and just did this as like a favor to Ozzy, the studio stuff, because he wasn't on the tour. Joe Holmes did the tour for Osmosis, but Zach Wilde did all the studio work. So I don't know exactly I think that might have been the time he was thinking about going to Guns N' Roses, because that would line up right with when Slash left Guns N' Roses.
Yeah.
And I think he was doing I think he did Pride and Glory already.
Yes.
And yeah, so he was on this fence about like, joining Guns. And I remember, I think I was just reading, it might have been in that interview that he did with Billy Corgan, because Zach just did an interview with him. And I think he was talking about that. And he was like, he was on the fence about doing Guns. And Ozzy was like, dude, I need an answer now. I'm going on tour. I need to know if you're in or out. And Zach just wasn't sure. And then he's like, I'm moving on. He got Joe Holmes to go do the tour. And it was that few years. I mean, Joe Holmes was in them like probably 4 or 5 years, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Because then he left when they were getting ready to record Down to Earth. Zach came back for that, but Zach didn't write any of the songs on that album.
So it wasn't any ill will then, probably.
No.
He came back whenever Ozzy needed him.
Right.
Yeah.
Basically, after the No More Tours tour in '92, Zach barely toured with him until the last tour, because he was off doing other stuff, Black Label, all that other stuff.
Yeah, he started up Black Label.
But Zach played on all the guitars on all but one of those albums. He just didn't do any of the tours.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Scream was the one that he didn't do the guitars. That was Gus G.
That was Gus G. Yeah.
And I saw that tour, man, with Gus, and it was he was a fantastic guitar player, and the set list for that tour was pretty damn cool. They were digging deep. I think they were doing like Fire in the Sky and shit like that, man. I was like, wow.
That must have been Gus G when I saw, because they did do Fire in the Sky. They didn't do a lot of Black Sabbath.
No, but I think they did like Rat Salad and shit like that, dude. I was like, whoa. It's crazy, man. And I got the picture disc of the Mr. Crowley EP.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, the picture disc one. So
I
got this huge I figured I'd break out this monstrosity right here.
What
This is like an Ozzy era Sabbath box set.
Ah, cool.
cool.
Yeah, wow, look at this guy.
It's got everything in it, man. Tour book.
Damn, dude.
All the albums and shit, dude.
I've never even seen that in my life.
No
I
shit,
never
either
have.
way.
Well, they've put out like 7 different box sets of all the Black
Every
Sabbath.
time he goes to a
This is just one of the many box sets of Black Sabbath.
Yeah, every time he goes to a concert, he meets the fucking band all the time. How do you do it, Al?
Okay,
You know, it's
I can let you in on that secret. So
Please.
Al will hang out. The good news is Al's not a weirdo, so we don't get tased or anything.
So I've been told.
Yeah. No, he's not, because I've hung out with weirdos. I live in Tampa. Trust me, Al's, but
I used to go to Ybor City all the time. I know.
so there you go. You get it. But he'll wait out there, and I'm not like Al. I'm like Al. I don't care. He said, "Oh, we'll wait."
I don't care.
He gets a set list too.
You got to be patient, man. You got to be
No,
persistent.
he's patient. I'm not that patient. I'm like, come on, Al. Let me. I want to go to Spears and see if there's anyone left at the bar I can pick up. But Al's like wants to hang out, which is kind of fun. It is fun. I mean,
It seems to
Listen,
work.
listen. I'm patient. I'm patient. I'm not going to a bar to go pick up chicks. I'm married, so I might as well just wait around.
So,
Might as well just wait around and fucking meet the guitar player or the fucking
well, the only
singer.
good news is I get there in time for last call. So those are the chicks that are about to pass out. So I'm like, all right, I look hot.
You're in, man. You're in, dude.
No, but
Those are the girls that are saying,
that list.
I gotta go home with somebody.
Yeah.
And Manny's a good-looking son of a bitch, so he'll pull him in.
Well, sometimes. Other times you're like, what's this? A restraining order? No, I'm kidding, guys.
Oh man, speaking of, so going back, I'm fucking scrambling around like trying to find my Black Sabbath shirt. Turns out I left it in my truck, which I left at work today because I bought my work truck home. I'm like, well, there goes that idea, It's just one of those days you're filled with emotion and it's just like whatever, man. I'm just throwing a fucking shirt on and a hat, and
Well,
the important thing is talking about the music and our experiences and shit like that. So
here's a question for all of you guys.
Yeah.
So the news organizations have all said the lead singer of Black Sabbath, is what I noticed. Do you think? How did you feel that he bookended his and last show? We didn't know it was going to be his last show with Black Sabbath. I mean, he did a solo set, but he chose to end it with Black Sabbath. It were the 4 original guys, like Al said. Who would have thought? What did you guys think of how he closed his career out?
Oh yeah, I thought that it was the perfect ending. Just like Al said, this is like a fairy tale ending, where everyone that you influenced is there to pay homage to you. You're able to play your solo stuff, which everybody loves, and then you're able to finish with your bandmates that you started your whole career with all original members there to support you. I mean, that is the way to. I mean, that's a fairy tale ending. It really is.
Yeah, I agree. And the part about that concert that really choked me up was the reaction of the crowd. A lot of people had tears in their eyes, man.
Yeah.
To say that music or doesn't have, it's not that important. It really is important, and it showed in those people's eyes. And I think it was a perfect way to end. I mean, how many bands, like Al said, would be able to end their career with the original members? Let me see. Led Zeppelin.
No.
That's probably the only one that did a concert with all 4 original members. And they did reunion concerts, not count. All right, reunion concerts. Yeah, they did.
Yeah,
but all of them were charitable things. It was just
I'm wrong about that. But
but like the last time that they were on stage as the band.
True.
I can't think of almost
the
any.
The O2 show was.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. I can't think of almost any band.
So I'm wrong about that. So just Black Sabbath. I mean,
because Neil Peart wasn't an original member of Rush.
That's true.
Even though that was like the lineup.
I can't think of many, man. I can't. Not.
No.
My head right.
There's only one band. There's only one band that can still pull this off, and that would be Aerosmith.
Yeah.
If they did this type of thing for Aerosmith, and I could kind of see this being kind of a blueprint now for like things. I think there's going to be more things like this.
Cheap Trick still could
if they wanted to, but they're not. The problem with them is they're not on the level of this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're not going to have superstars that was influenced by them. Like,
and
had the who's who that paid everything to them.
And I was listening to Ralph on one of his shows. He was doing the live Almost Human, and after the Back to the Beginning thing, everybody was kind of reviewing it and everything, doing live shows. And I remember, he was saying, why couldn't they were talking about like the bands that they had on this lineup, right? And, I remember him saying, oh, why couldn't they have, like some more doom metal bands, like fucking, I don't know. I'm blanking on the name.
Well, whatever, a doom metal band.
Yeah. All right. But the problem is they're not going to sell tickets, man. These are underground bands, dude. You got to get names on the marquee. I mean, Metallica's going to sell tickets. Fucking,
Guns N' Roses.
Guns N' Roses.
Whatever, whoever that's going to sell tickets, man.
I mean, to be fair, other than like the last 3 or 4 bands.
I mean, I'd love to see Candlemass on there, but they're not going to sell tickets, man.
But to be fair, on that show, other than like the top 3 or 4, I don't think any of them would sell tickets. So
no,
I mean,
this is a massive event, and it's
I think Pantera on is when it started to be like, okay, these people can actually sell tickets.
Yeah,
but like the earlier bands, no.
Yeah, like Mastodon or like things
Lamb
like
of
that.
God. They're an opening band.
Yeah.
You know what's amazing about Ozzy's career? Not only how it ended, but think in the beginning. Black Sabbath comes out in 1970. The birth of heavy metal, and I kind of agree with it. Yes, there was Led Zeppelin, who also helped birth heavy metal.
It was this one.
Yeah. A few months later in rock, which also helped birth heavy metal. But that was the birth. So you imagine, you're a kid, you're a 13, 14-year-old kid. You go to the store, it's 1970. At that point, the heaviest thing might be Led Zeppelin 1 or Mountain or
Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah. And Hendrix is God, so we don't count him because he's way up there because he's a God. So God looks down to Tony Iommi, meaning Hendrix, and blesses him. So you are in 1970. You buy this album because of the cover, because you have no idea what it sounds like. You throw it on, you hear that thunder, and you hear that first chord, and you hear Ozzy's voice. Could you imagine? Because we take this for granted, because when I got into this music, it was already 12 years old. At that time, that seems like 100 years old when you're a kid. But you hear this music for the first time, and you have no idea that this music is going to trickle down and influence everyone. Everyone. Even bands that don't claim to listen to Black Sabbath, like Aerosmith, even Alice Cooper, they all like Black Sabbath. But you imagine being this kid, that must have sounded like, what the hell is this? But it had this.
It's all time frame, man.
Yeah.
We everything kind of gets diluted as time goes on. But I mean, I always try to put myself in the frame of mind, like, what if I was actually like 12 years old in 1970 and I heard this shit for the first time? I'd probably run for my life, dude. I'd probably be scared as hell. I mean, imagine going to see them live and Ozzy's the fucking madman that he is, like jumping around and fucking, singing the shit that he's singing. Like, people must have been like, had to scrape their jaws off the floor. They're probably like, what am I seeing here, man? You can't register,
I mean, and we never think or say these words when it comes to Black Sabbath and Ozzy, but they were innovators. They were the first of their kind to come up with music like this. Just like Tony Iommi says, that they wanted to make scary music, just like there were scary music, scary movies.
Yeah,
all that they were going after was making scary music, and look what they did. They started a whole revolution of it that's still going on today.
And what's really cool is all those critics hated that music, but they're all gone. The music is still here. Yeah. So before I leave, I'm going to propose a toast. I'm not drinking booze, just a Coke, but because I got to get my daughter. But I'm going to say thank you, Ozzy, for the music. Thank you, Black Sabbath. Your music's eternal, so thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, guys.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, they're wonderful. They're the best.
Thank you, Manny, for joining us,
Thank you
bro.
for your time, Manny. We really do appreciate it.
Yes,
thank you, guys. Nice meeting you, man.
You
both.
Say hi to the next chick you meet at the bar later.
I'll talk to you later, guys. Later, man.
So there goes Manny. Great guy.
Manny, always a fun having him on the show. I know you just met him tonight, Jerry, but
seems like a really cool dude.
He's a great guy, dude.
Oh, I mean, I've seen him on your shows before. I can tell this dude is pretty cool.
Yeah.
So
he's been on quite a bit lately, and I'm really enjoying his.
Yeah, there's some people you get on a show with you're kind of uncomfortable with, and there's some people that you're really comfortable with. I feel comfortable with this guy. So it was nice meeting him, finally doing the show with him.
So, just to get off of Ozzy and Black Sabbath for a minute. So, what happened today, Jerry? Were you able to get trained on Cranium?
No. Like I said, Mike called me about 4:30. He was on his way home. He said, "Look, man, I'm sorry, I can't do it tonight. His dad's got real bad liver issues.
Yeah, that's right.
He was upset about Ozzy. He had a bad day at work, and he's like, "Look, man, can we do it Thursday?" During the day, because I'm taking the day off Thursday. And he said, yeah, sure, I can do it. I just told him it's like me and Joe are doing a show from like 12 to 1, our stick show, but anytime the hours before that, I'm able to do it. And that's when we're going to do the training. He's going to do your training that night. I asked him if it's possible
we can do it
to
together.
do both of our, but we can't because he's got to be out. He can only be on one person's computer.
Oh, okay. Just one person at a time. All right, that's cool. Because I was wondering how it had gone. Anybody? Do y'all want to add some more about Ozzy?
Yeah, after we're done recording, I want to talk about something when we're done recording.
Okay.
I don't want to air it out.
I think we've all needed to say. I don't know, Joe. You have any last words?
Yeah, no. I mean, just thank you to Ozzy for all this amazing music, and I hope that he is at peace right now. Just because of everything he's been going through for the past several years.
Yeah.
I just want to go to the comments here and Andy R he was saying 76 with Parkinson's, all the self-induced abuse and spinal surgery that went bad was what really crushed him. Yeah, ever since that ATV accident, I think that was kind of the beginning of the kind of like his descent of his health, man. He also said he never got to see him or Sabbath, sadly. And then he said so many guitarists, all of them monsters in their own way. Yeah, Brad, Brad Gillis was great. I mean, all of them, man. He's had, Ozzy, the guitar slot in Ozzy's was the coveted fucking guitar slot. Like, that was like the slot to get. If you made it to Ozzy's band, you made it, bro. You were a guitar hero.
I kind of felt bad for Brad, though. He had some tough shoes to follow, man. He had to come in immediately. He wasn't welcomed, But
I mean,
it took a while.
My friend, that's the drummer. He was a drummer in my band. I mean, before he was a drummer in my band. I mean, he was married to my best friend's sister, and that's how we became friends. And we were in bands together. He's in his 60s, so he's got over 10 years on me. But yeah, he actually got to meet Randy Rhoads and Ozzy. Wow. I told a story where it was in Asbury Park, New Jersey. Him and his friend, they took off of work, or they went down there early, like in the morning. Like, they were there all day, and they were like drinking on the boardwalk and just hanging out. There's a place called Convention Hall. Yeah. And the bus rolls up, and Ozzy comes out, and Randy comes out, and they got to meet Randy. Like, not my friend, but his friend was already like half in the bag and shit. And he went and he put his arms around Randy, because he was a guitar player, and Randy was like his hero. My friend was a drummer, but he was a big Randy fan as well. Like, this was before the big mythical Randy Rhoads. When he was alive, I mean, yes, he was as a guitar player. It wasn't really until after his death when he became this mythical figure. But they were ahead of the curve. They were big fans of his already. As a matter of fact, my friend that was a drummer, he had the 2 Quiet Riot albums with Randy already, like as imports, from Japan and shit. Because he used to have a record store and a flea market in New Jersey. Actually, where Rock and Roll Heaven was, where Johnny Z started Megaforce Records, same flea market. Anyway, so they got to meet Randy, and his friend was having a bag, put his arms around Randy. He's like, "Yeah, I fucking Randy, you're great." And I think it scared Randy.
He's a little guy too.
Yeah, he's a little guy, and
he thought he was getting attacked.
But he said that Randy was very nice and everything. But I think he kind of scared him a little bit, and he kind of ran in to a place. So I had told this story, right? It was Tommy Aldridge's birthday that day, so. And there was a woman that was a representative for Ozzy, I don't know, I forgot what he said. I don't know if she was like the road manager or the assistant. Anyway, she came out and she asked, "Is there a bakery around there where she can go get a cake?" And they knew the area, so my friend and his friend took her to this bakery and got fucking Tommy Aldridge a birthday cake, brought her back, and my friend was like, "Is there any way I can get Randy's autograph or something?" So she went in. Came back out with a piece of paper, and with Randy Rhoads' signature on it. And to this day, he has that in his collection. That night, I think he caught one of Randy's guitar picks. So he has this whole scrapbook of Randy stuff and Ozzy. Anyway, so where was I going with this? So anyway, yeah. So the whole coveted guitar player thing. Yeah. So anyway, I'm going back to the comments. Yeah, there's a bunch of comments. Zachary Nathanson. My introduction to Black Sabbath was back in 1996 after hearing them in the soundtrack to the 1981 adult animated cult classic Heavy Metal. Dio was first, Ozzy was second. I was blown away as an 11-year-old. The soundtrack blew me away, along with the movie, proving to me that animation wasn't just for kids, giving Mickey Mouse the middle finger. For me, my favorite Sabbath album has got to be Sabbath Blaze Sabbath. That's my favorite as well. Actually, that's the usage of class. I kind of go between that and Sabotage, and
those are the two for me.
Yeah, for me, my favorite Sabbath was Sabbath. The usage of classical music, keyboards, of spaghetti western in the midsection of "Who Are You?" You can't go wrong with that. Back to heavy metal, the animation was ahead of its time, based on the illustrated magazine elements of EC Comics, Sword and Sorcery, Penthouse. Parallel universes, trippy and ahead of its time. Couldn't agree with you more, Zach. So,
All of that, yeah, definitely.
So-
Big time.
But that's my, my last words is, Ozzy, thank you for the years of enjoyment that you've given me, for introducing me to Randy Rhoads, who, as you all know, is one of my guitar influences. I always say he's one of my holy trinity. Thank you for introducing the world to him. I hope you and him are having a good conversation right now, maybe a nice pint of beer somewhere in the afterworld. But thank you for everything you've done, man. And I'm glad that you got to do your one last show, full circle with Sabbath.
Yeah,
I was hoping the last song would have been Black Sabbath. That would have truly been the full circle moment. But hey, listen, you get what you get, and it was great. And,
Yeah, it was.
Have the guys from Sabbath released anything yet? I haven't seen anything.
I think I've seen all three of them make comments. Bill Ward.
I've only read Tony's. Oh no, and Geezer's. I haven't read Bill Ward's yet.
Bill Ward put one out, and
okay,
I saw Tony.
I'm sure his is very articulate and tearful, and
very touching.
He seems like he's the one member of Sabbath I haven't met, and I'd love to meet Bill Ward. He's one of the guys I'd love to just say what's up, man, and just tell him how much, because I love his drumming. I love him as a musician, man. He's in my top 3 drummers of all time.
Hey, I want to say hi to Adam and see it's been a while. Adam, how you been, man?
Yeah, so that's my Ozzy. Thank you for everything, and you guys want to say some parting words? And
you know what? He might be dead physically, like I said earlier, but he's always going to be right here, man.
Yep.
So I think it's our obligation to keep this going. He deserves our total respect and to try to keep his music alive as long as we can. So it's still sometimes, man. It's still hitting me, man. It really is. It's a big loss to humanity. I mean, I know it sounds silly, but what he's done as far as touching people with his music, man, is incredible. Like I said, he's helped me out of so many depressions and bad times in my life. His music has always been there, and I'm gonna do one more. Cheers, Ozzy, man. Thank you, bro.
Cheers,
Thank you.
Ozzy.
Rest in peace.
Andy.
Yeah. All I want to say is that when I got the news today, I was at work, and some people just don't understand how these musicians mean to us.
Yeah, I agree.
This is more than just music. It's more than just songs. It's been our way of life for a very long time. And these are the people that we celebrate life with. These are the ones we cry with. When we're feeling down, we turn to our music. And when we're excited, we get good news, we celebrate, we put on good music. So, this really hurt. This was a big one. And we will always remember Ozzy. He will be played every day like he always has in our life for decades. And he'll still be there for us. So thank you for that, Ozzy. Joe, you want to add anything before we go?
Yeah, I mean, you guys pretty much said everything that I could. I mean, it's going to be hard knowing that we're all living in a world without Ozzy now, but we got to keep music alive because that's what he left, and that's what his legacy is going to be, is the music and how it touched so many people.
Yeah, it's going to be it's going to take some time to get over, but we're going to be comforted by what we're spinning.
Even Flavor Flav commented on him today, how great of a guy he was. That tells you something.
This is the wide reach that Ozzy had, man.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah.
And one more thing, man. I was listening. It wasn't too long ago. It was probably like a week ago on Ozzy's Boneyard. He always did that. He always did speaking with Ozzy with, like, I think Billy Morrison.
Billy Morrison.
Yeah. And
Ozzy speaks.
Yeah, Ozzy speaks. And Billy was like, "Is there anybody left like you'd like to record with?" And the first words out of his mouth was Paul McCartney.
Yeah.
And now I kind of wish he would have got that wish, man. But because that guy was his hero, man.
Yeah, he really was. And I was listening to the same show you were listening to today, Al, because I heard Frank Bello call in.
Yeah.
And Frank Bello was saying how, I think it was a week ago, him and Ozzy were in the backstage of a Comic-Con. And he said the way that Ozzy was talking and the stories he was trading.
He wanted to go do some signings, like he wanted to do autograph signings and sessions and things like that.
Yeah.
Like he wanted to go out and do that stuff. And it just kind of sucks now that he can't, he's not
and
around.
Frank Bella was saying that, when I was hearing him talk and we were trading stories about touring, he was thinking in his mind, man, you know what, we got about 2 more years with him. He felt that strongly about him.
Yeah.
And then, of course, he said we were all on a high from the show earlier this month. He goes, and then how quickly life turns, and we're so far down low now.
That's why life is fragile, man.
Yeah,
So,
it really is.
Tell the people that you love them, man.
And spend time with them. Spend time with them.
Yep.
I want to thank everybody out there. Thank you, Adam. Thank you, Andy R. Thank you, Zachary. Thank you for Manny. Thank you so much, Manny. Also, thank you so much, Jerry, and of course, Joseph. Thank you for joining us.
Check out their show, Heavy Water 77, man.
Heavy Water 77, guys.
Great Stick show.
A great Stick show. It's a show dedicated to the band Styx. And when I say dedicated, these two fellas right here dedicate the show to Styx.
Joe's the MVP of the show. He's the MVP.
Jerry always says this, but I think Jerry brings just as much as I do.
Yeah, both of them are,
and I'm fine with it.
And they really add so much to it. So check them out on YouTube. Also, we'll be back tomorrow. This was just a special show for today. Tomorrow we will be coming back with me, Al, and Jerry. And Joseph wasn't able to make it tomorrow, but we will have Fabio with us. And we are going to be talking about songs that have a title of a U.S. city in the title.
Yeah, I have to redo my list because I thought it was any city, like around the world, like Last Time in Paris by Queensryche or something. So I'm going to have to go back and change a couple of things. But
that might be about Paris, Texas. You never know.
All right, there you go. That's how I'm going to do it. Thank you, Andy.
So
thank you.
We all know damn well it ain't about Paris, Texas.
Look at Paris, Tennessee too. Really
isn't Paris, Texas, the city of love, the most beautiful city in the world?
Yeah.
You know what though? But they do.
The Tino Eiffel Tower.
They have an Eiffel Tower there?
Yes, they do have an Eiffel Tower.
From Tinu. Yeah,
they really do. They got a replica of it. I don't know how tall it is.
That's okay. In PA, we have a Statue of Liberty in the middle of a river. I don't know. It's
wow, really? It's
literally somebody back in the 70s put this tiny little Statue of Liberty in the middle of a river.
I want to say one more thing for you guys, man. I just want to say thank you again for, every day I'm on the show with you guys, I learn more and more shit. And I'm so appreciative of you all, man. I just want to let you know that I'm still in awe of you guys. Every time I get on the show,
man. We all
learn a lot from you too, Jerry.
Each other out.
Sometimes sitting down and shutting the fuck up and listening is the best thing that can happen to you. I enjoy it, man. So thank you.
Oh, well, there's a reason why we invite you, Jerry. And
Andy, you're in trouble because I won't be quiet when we fucking meet in a couple of months. So get prepared. You're gonna be up for a long time too.
Away, Jerry. It's almost a month away.
Anyway, but thank you guys.
I'm bringing bail money. Okay, that's all I'm saying. Bail money. I don't know what's going on in the small town of Oklahoma. I don't know.
You guys are gonna burn a fucking city down. I think at this point.
Yeah,
jeez, the way you guys are hyping this up.
I know, right?
I got to get through the plane ride first. I'm not a good flyer. I hate flying, but if I get through that,
I'm going to see on the national news. Something happens outside of Rocklahoma. God damn it, Jerry and Andy.
Like picture me holding a number there in county jail.
Yeah. Well, I guess we're not going to be filming for a couple of weeks.
Right. A couple of rockers jailed today. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Y'all hang tight. I think we're going to have a little powwow afterwards.
Before we go out, just to quote Ralph's tagline, listen to Black Sabbath, man.
Yes.
There you go.
Listen to Black Sabbath. I've got a little board at work where we're supposed to write little things for work, like schedules and stuff. I've got L2BS. It's been on there for about a year now. It's listen to Black Sabbath. Today, underneath it, I wrote Ozzy Lives underneath it.
Cool.
I've got the Van Halen one in the corner. Nobody knows what I'm writing up there. Nobody knows.
And Ozzy lives on, man.
Yeah, Ozzy lives.
We love you, Ozzy, man. Thank you for everything, brother.
Thanks, guys.
Cheers.